Okay, I think we're live. Hello. How is everybody? Let's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 258. So, we are in a post-fuga world, people. Actually, let me get an image of it up here. Actually, should I put that up? Maybe. Let's get the Sukuna technique here. Now, I know I haven't uploaded on this channel in a couple weeks, but we have to talk about Fuga. Because the fire arrow has finally arrived and Yuji Itadori has a simple domain. So I will hear no more Yuji slander. Yuji is truly... he's up there. He took a full output Malevolent Shrine hit. Right on his noggin. Well, that's pretty good if you ask me. Yuji will perfect parry the Fuga and land another 8 black flashes next chapter. I don't know about that one, Chief. What is good, Corkless? Oh, we're great. I have a lot of coffee in front of me, so it's a good day. So what I want to talk about in this stream are some of my thoughts on 258, some of my thoughts on Fuga, and some more, I've had some time to think about the whole Yuji situation with him being the spiritual nephew, his relationship to Sukuna, his relationship to Sukuna. I prefer this iteration of Malevolent Shrine than the traditional one. It feels way more... getting blocked by the emoji here. Way more evil and a better representation of who Sukuna is. I kind of agree. I do. It does seem very inhuman. Ooh, Doc Ock, question mark? I have no idea what you're talking about. There's no Doc Ock here at all. So with the Fuga, let's start with this. Let's open up... let me pull up the image. I have a chef image here somewhere. So it really seems like the technique is just the cooking technique, which at this point, JJK's explanations have been getting a little more, I don't know, on the nose. Like, usually it's a pretty simple answer. And him with his, constant talk about the cooking technique makes sense. Like, I don't mind it. And I really feel like, I'm just going to say, be prepared, people. Sukuna's probably going to regen himself by eating somebody. Like, that's where I think we're going. Quirkless Shinobi, do you think Yuji has other curse techniques by looking at his arms from the death paintings? I do think he probably has others that he's going to unlock. And those arms he has are crazy. They are so good. They full-on took a Malevolent Shrine hit, and they're fine. Full output. Like, that was a full output Malevolent Shrine. That is crazy durability. I expected the cooking technique, but I want something different, I guess. Yeah, I don't really mind the cooking technique. I can see where it might be disappointing for some people, but it sounds pretty good to me. Let me find... I had some image here of it. Here's a Fallout cannibal. The cannibal technique. So let me put in a poll here. Do you think... actually, let's ask... does Sukuna... let's just ask people think. Sukuna's CT might be revealed next chapter. Yeah, I think it will be revealed next chapter, though him putting it on 2-week break is diabolical. Not 2-week break, a 1-week break. I actually think it's better than just copy. Yeah, it is a better technique, depending on how he obtains power through eating people. Give me the full health Sukuna. Guys, I really do think he's going to eat somebody, and then he's going to get, a regened arm or something, because for some reason, if he's really beaten down as much as they say he is, which it looks like he is, it doesn't make any sense for him to hold back if he doesn't have an option to regenerate, and eating somebody seems like the most obvious answer to that for me. But what do we think about Yuji? That's the real thing I want to talk about here. The whole Yuji situation, because him eating a Malevolent Shrine, and some of the weird translations in this chapter, but him eating a Malevolent Shrine hit, his durability is top. The only one with better durability feats right now is, who? Sukuna and Gojo? Who do you think he's gonna eat? I mean, there are a lot of options. Choso, maybe? Someone unimportant. That's what I feel like. Or somebody like mid-tier important, like Hikari. I don't want to be mean to the side characters, but when you're in Jujutsu Kaisen at this point, if you aren't Yuji or Megumi, you're just not that. Like, you're not so important you can't get killed. Yuji top 5 easily. Yeah, Yuji is ridiculous. Yuji bodies Jogo, okay? He has simple domain. Can I say it now without any pushback? Miwa was able to simple domain a full output Malevolent Shrine. That's all I'm saying. These guys have truly power cliffed. It's quite ridiculous. Miwa with her unbelievable simple domain. Who do you think is the second person Yuji swapped through Ui Ui's technique? I'd probably say Gojo or Yuta. It's one of those two. It's gotta be. I'd be very shocked if it wasn't one of them, because he needed to learn RCT, and he's not going to learn RCT through a different, like, you know, someone like I don't know, Kusakabe. It's malfunctioning shrine right now. Yeah, the limited void and the malfunctioning shrine. The memes are back. Does Yuji survive the meteor? I mean, Panda dodged the meteor, so it's never gonna hit him. And the meteor has 0 attack, like, damage feats. It just slammed into the ground. Do you think Gege will reveal Sukuna's CT next chapter? Oh, they better. I'm sure they will at this point. I'd be shocked if they didn't. And hey, what's up, Tiberius? Good to see you. It's easily dodged. Even Panda dodged it. Yeah, maximum meteor. Poor Jogo, dude. Got robbed. Robbed of life. Or Yuji would punch the meteor. Dr. Octopus is really on the screen on the left. I have no idea what you're talking about. There's no Dr. Octopus here. Malevolent Kitchen was actually canon. A legendary spoiler from the anime. Truly. Now, seeing Fuga come out, seeing the open like furnace open or hearth open, that panel went hard. 5 double spreads this last chapter, and that's not what I expected to see at all. 5 double spreads is an insane amount. I can't even remember the last chapter we have that many. Do you think Gojo is coming back? If Gojo comes back, I don't know what he's going to do. He's not going to be the one to beat Sukuna in the story. Like, that's clearly not his role. So bringing him back seems kind of pointless. And Gojo on his deathbed was like, oh, I have no regrets. So him coming back, I just don't see it right now. Is gaining power from eating cursed energy a usual thing or unique to Yuji/Rika? It seems like, it's hard to tell, really. I mean, it seems like the finger bearers ate the cursed fingers, so maybe. Don't sleep on Fuga. It was able to kill Jogo. Oh, the fire arrow is almost certainly going to be Sukuna's strongest ability he's shown so far, beyond, like, the World Slash. I mean, they call them flames of certain death. And there's also the databook entry. If I had to find it somewhere, it's very roughly translated, the one I saw, but it did put it above Cleave, if I'm remembering correctly. Don't quote me on that. But the fire arrow, it's like a nuclear bomb. He's probably going to shoot it at, I should say, my friend Eternal Flame. We were talking about this, and he said that he thinks the fire arrow is going to go right past Yuji and the gang and go straight for where Shoko is, because he knows what they're up to. Or at least he has some idea they're up to something. And we know that Gege Akatame is a big fan of Naruto. And we all remember what Madara did with that Ten Tails bomb. It's stated by Kusakabe they have no countermeasures for flames. I don't think he stated they had no countermeasures for flames. They just have no... They're worried about him using the fire. That was what they were worried about. I have to go double check though. He should use the furnace as sure hit and they get cooked. Yeah, it should be part of his technique. So Sukuna's been fighting with like one part of his technique this whole time, which we kind of already knew. Like that's not really anything, any like new information to us really, but it is cool to see finally. What is your thought on the merger? Will we see it? I'm 50-50 on this. The merger could very well just be a red herring, or be far less of an actual Godzilla thing and more of like a cursed energy change in the world. Because I don't really see a massive fight happening with the merger creature. I just don't. If anything, right now, I put my money on the characters who are going to fight Sukuna at the end are going to be Yuji and Megumi, because Megumi is pretty much guaranteed to be cracked if he ever comes out of Sukuna now. He has been in there. His body has been learning everything Sukuna's been doing this whole time. It is total muscle memory for him, and they brought it up for a reason. I'd be really shocked if we didn't see like an impressive domain expansion from him if he comes back. Let's see. Christian, super chat for $10. Thanks you so much, man. I got the vibe / feeling there was some retconning the last episodes. Why would the Fuga incantation be omitted in Shibuya? Going to Japan next month, I will spread the word of the... Oh, thank you so much. And hope you have fun in Japan. I've never been myself. I've never been to any part of the Asia. Really, I'm American, so we don't really go anywhere. Most of us don't even leave our hometowns. And Boku no Color, talk your shit, super chatting, saying, talk your shit, Quirkless. This chapter was nuts. Makeshift domain was interesting. Shortening the hand signs and changing the parameters is so cool. Yeah, I'm very curious what he gave up to do like an impromptu binding vow. It could have been something very minimal. We'll have to see. Because he really, like, he still had his extra hand. And that, let's just be real, the Malevolent Shrine looked more malfunctioning than ever, even though the output and range was the same, which is crazy. But again, thanks for the super chats, both of you. Megumi will come out with Sheen's head from Jimmy Neutron and the Sukuna body. Now, it's funny you mentioned Jimmy Neutron because I was just thinking about that the other day. Megumi being the 1 in a million vessel and not Yuji shows just how much potential Megumi has. Yeah, he kind of is, but he couldn't really suppress him as well as Yuji could. Isn't the time limit the trade-off? It might be, but it sounded more like it's because of the state he's in. But you could be correct. You reckon Sukuna will hit Yuji with a flame arrow? No, I think he's gonna go straight over him. I think he already told, if I remember correctly, he already told Yuji, I'm gonna slaughter your friends first, and then I'll kill you. And the thing that really pushed Sukuna this chapter, like, Sukuna was pissed, and that's why he didn't say a word this chapter beyond Malevolent Shrine. He said domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine, and Furnace Open. Those were the only words he spoke this chapter, because he's done playing around. He wants to cook Yuji's ideology hard. Because the thing that brought this out of him was Yuji pissing him the fuck off. Is Womb Perfusion a mixture of CSM and Kenjaku CT or something similar? I don't think we'll ever know for sure unless we get like some more explanation on Kenjaku's stuff. Maybe. They do look kind of funky. It looks a little similar to what we just saw. But he was smiling. Yeah, Sukuna's always smiling, though. Sukuna smiling rarely ever shows his internal thoughts. You think this is Sukuna going out? Oh, definitely. I mean, like, we'll see the full extent of his CT, but he's pulling out the bag. Like, this is it. And the person who pushed him to do it is Yuji. So, everything lines up. It won't hit him because Limitless, and Limitless won't be on cooldown because it's the base application of his technique. He can use Fire Arrow before Gojo regen from slashes and cook him. Yeah, Sukuna's cursed energy is pretty much unlimited. Basically, yeah. Sukuna's cursed energy might as well just be explained as a bottomless pit. When's your next video? Pretty soon. I've just been really busy these past 2 weeks. I wanted to get a stream out for this. Just to keep people updated who want to hear my thoughts, because some of you do for some reason. You think Sukuna has been using Yuji's CT till now? He told Jogo that he wouldn't cheat by showing his own CT. I mean, this is just Sukuna's CT. If anything, Yuji is using Sukuna's, which seems to be the case, because Yuji and Sukuna are pretty much the same person, from the sounds of it. Or like exact same potential. Strongest sorcerer is a chef. Well, you know, the cooking memes, they're a long time coming. What Fallout do you like the most? It's an excellent question. I probably have the most time on Fallout 4 because Fallout 4 is the most content. And then I'd say New Vegas after that. I like New Vegas' story and quest the most. I like the world of Fallout 4 the most. I mean, Fallout 4 is a jetpack, so you get verticality. And I like, after that, I'd say the world of Fallout 3. But New Vegas has such good DLC that's hard not to enjoy it. Though it is a pain in the ass to mod compared to 4, because 4 is just newer. Gojo fans coping, there's like 1 billion hours between Furnace, Open, and Sukuna firing the arrow. Yeah, okay, Gojo fan cope is like, it's eternal. I don't even care to address it at this point. Sukuna's just crazy at this point. He's just insane. Insanely strong. We'll see. We'll see, though. I'm more curious to see where Sukuna's actually at, what his full bag looks like, because we've been waiting so long for this curse technique reveal. At least I have. So we're going to find out. Yuji is a bum. We got confirmation. It's 100% Sukuna residuals. Hakari is the real MC. Preach. King D super chatting. Chat, what does an incomplete Eldritch Abomination, closed barrier, same AoE as Shibuya, same output as Shibuya, no escape route, can affect heavily restricted users, quirkless yapper domain expansion look like? Thank you for the super chat. I don't know what that looks like. My yapper domain expansion, though, probably just be a lot of mouths. Like, you know the big mouth in Malevolent Shrine? It would just be like that, but all attached to like a speakerphone. Cheesy Brad super chatting. Yo, love you men. Go. Oh my god. Not gonna lie, I was more sad over Higuruma's death than who? Gojo's? Bro, what the fuck is the Doc Ock and Fallout clip art for? The Fallout clip art's there just to represent the cannibal CT because I had no other image, and I have no idea what you're talking about, the Doc Ock one. I don't see any Doc Ock here. We can remove the cannibalism for now. This chapter puts into perspective why no one could jump Sukuna during the golden age of sorcery. Yeah. I mean, Sukuna's just crazy. You just open up a Malevolent Shrine. It takes a Gojo guy to even survive it against a Sukuna that's adapting. Sukuna will change his body to undo the binding vows 100%. I am curious to see where Sukuna is going to be at soon here. Am I tripping? No, I'm just messing with you, King. I just put that Doc Ock photo there for that exact reason, but I'm too nice. I can't gaslight somebody for my entire stream. I just thought it'd be funny. Maybe I'm just a bad person. We haven't even seen the trident. I do wonder if that's a weapon in his shrine. But the Doc Ock picture, that's just an image of Mechamaru's final form. He's in Shinjuku, bruv. Are you good, Quirkless? What am I talking about? Shibuya? Did I say Shibuya? I don't even know what we're referencing here. I probably said something, though. Yeah, exactly. No trident yet. Yeah, the trident is the fork. Oh my god, I swear to god, that trident is supposed to be the Trishula of... Who was it? I cannot remember this. Shiva. the God of Destruction. So if it's literally just a fork in Jujutsu Kaisen, that seems a little, I don't know, sacrilegious to me. You take like the most powerful trident in Hindu mythology and you give it fork status. I don't know about that one. The trident is indeed the fork. First comes the cutting, then the cooking, and last the eating. I swear to God, if it's actually a Chef Boyardee domain. The Chef Boyardee domain. Okay, so let's talk about. I want to ask some questions here. Do we think Yuji is top 5? Let me put a poll out. Top 5 with no domain seems crazy, but he does have some crazy feats right now. Sukuna sacrifices height to undo binding vows and goes from 7 feet to 4 foot. That's crazy. All I want is for Shrine to be the most busted CT in the verse for 3 people to be using it right now. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how it operates because you'd think that Yuta would have been able to do this if he has Shrine. He is 5th. He's top 5 but not 5. Like, yeah, Yuji, even though he doesn't have an actual domain expansion of his own currently, he is crazy. He is really crazy. It's kind of nuts to think we're talking about top 5 conversations for someone with no domain expansion, but that's where we're at. I guess I'd have to like talk about other characters, but tanking a Malevolent Shrine hit, not dying instantly, and like it hit him in the face. Like nobody is surviving that we've seen so far. Everyone else got out scot-free except for him, so they have no durability feat. Though, to be fair, if we're being honest, most of them would probably live. I mean, definitely not Miwa. But I'm guessing if Gege Akatame wanted like their simple domains to drop, they would have been okay. Let's see here. Super chat from Martin. Will Yuji gain domain expansion from body swapping with the last person? Or will it be from having Sukuna opening his shrine while in Yuji? That's a good question. Yuji domain expansion, personally, I think Yuji might never get a domain expansion in this series. The way that they're talking about Sukuna and like how having Sukuna inside of you can boost your abilities, or having anyone inside of you, it sounds like Megumi is going to be the one to like finish his domain expansion by the muscle memory of Sukuna, because he's been stuck with like Sukuna in charge of his body longer than any of these characters have even been able to swap. Oh, did I skip your super chat, Tiberius? Let me check. Oh, Hakari is the MC, the missing character. Yeah, that's true. Thank you both, Martin and Tiberius, for the super chats. And I'm sorry for not getting to yours, Tiberius. But yeah, he is the missing character, for sure. When it fell out, Kenjaku put it back in. Cheesy bread with the innuendo. The thing with Yuji right now is everybody wants them to get the Benevolent Shrine. And let me pull up an image of Yuji here just so we have visual representation. Oh my god, this is a tiny image. What resolution is that? Jeez, like 40p? We have it somewhere. Yuji, you know, you'd think I'd have more Yuji images on my computer, but here we go, perfect. So Yuji is probably not going to get a domain expansion. Maybe that's crazy. I mean, that's a crazy take from me, but it just feels like domain expansion is reserved for Megumi, especially after the recent talk. I mean, maybe they'll both have one. Maybe like Chimera Shrine. Chimera Shadow Shrine or something. Megumi domain clashes with Sukuna while barrages him with black flashes. While Yuji, I'm assuming you meant Yuji. Yeah, it seems like Megumi would be the one to domain clash Sukuna. Yuji versus Perfect Sphere. I mean, Perfect Sphere can kill him, but it seems like she has to use it in her domain expansion, and Yuji's simple domain can handle Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine at full output for like 90 seconds, which is insane. But yeah, I would still put Yorozu. Yorozu is very strong, and I still have her in my top 5 anyways, so... He's definitely getting domain expansion after that Yuji equals Sukuna talent. I think you get it one day. I just don't know if he's gonna get it in this, like in the actual story we see. Though to be honest, you do bring up a good point that him being equal to Sukuna does kind of make like every Sukuna feat a potential Yuji feat one day. Do you think the soul swap will work on Hana and Angel? Well, first of all, what are you learning from them? You gonna learn how to get your arm bitten off? The Chimera Shadow Shrine? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if Yuji opens his barrier and, like, instead of trying to fight with the sure hit, he just combines his domain expansion, like chimeras it with the open barrier of Megumi, or something like that. Yuji is high diffing Yuta at this point. I don't know if I'd say that at thank you for the super chat, but like Yuji definitely has a better durability feat at this point. That's what he has here. Though I think until we have a greater output showcase from Yuji with the Cleave and Dismantle. Cleave and Dismantle is OP. It is very OP. So maybe, but like maybe one day. Yuta coming back to redirect the fire arrow with sky manipulation. One could pray. Though I don't think that would work. I think it would just detonate. He'd have to like move the entire space of the explosion. Maybe he could send it somewhere. I don't think it's like Granite Blast. Like Granite Blast is a giant laser beam with like 1 point. It just like shoots straight forward. I don't think we've ever seen somebody like sky manipulate a legitimate explosion. Since Sukuna's CT is cooking related and the flames aren't actually a different CT, so we think there's more abilities. Oh, I'm like almost... I would go out entirely here and just say there's almost guaranteed to be more to Sukuna's CT than just a fire arrow. I think this is just like the first part. That's why Gege Akatame showcased it right at the beginning of this, right at the end of this chapter first, because it's the one we know about. The laws of anime dictate that he is going to fucking cook someone alive before they stop him. So my question right now is, who do we think is going to die to the fire arrow? Because it's either going to be, in my opinion, Choso. Maybe Hikari will come in and like do some stuff and then get absolutely firebombed, or something else. Like, you know, let's just put this in a... Let me get my thoughts together here a little bit better, just so I can present what I'm trying to say. And let's use it with pictures, because that's what we do on YouTube. So first of all, let's say you have Ash Ketchum. So Ash Ketchum is coming in. That's why I pulled up this image, just because it's the only one I had on hand. So let's just say we're sending out some people, and we have to fight Sukuna. It seems like the characters who have to go out and fight him, the ones that were set up to go and fight him, were Maki, Hikari, Yuta, and Yuji. And I feel like we're going to see that 4-person fight, that 4v1, the heavy hitters alone versus Sukuna at some point, with Sukuna's full CT, and he is going to eat somebody. Like, Sukuna's probably going to eat somebody, and he's going to bring back his output. He's going to bring back his, like, he's probably going to eat a nobody character here and bring back his output. Like, he's going to eat Choso. Why do I hate Choso? Because Choso is just, like, the least important character in, like, the current area. It's like Ino or Choso. Those poor bastards are, like, first on the menu, in my opinion. So if he's... Because Sukuna right now, he is injured. And this entire time, I've been asking myself, why on earth would Sukuna be holding back if he doesn't have another res option or another way to get back his CT? Because let me pull up the Chapter 213 thing, where we see him, he just bites Angel and like morphs his whole head. Like, he's got to have an option to get output back, get health back, like restore the HP pool. Because otherwise it makes no sense for him to let himself get beaten up this bad, in my opinion. Because clearly he had this fire arrow the whole time, and they didn't say it's part of his domain, it's just part of his CT. There's even a data book about that. So, it's very strange. It's very strange, guys. Let me find the, I have it somewhere here. Brother, why do you have Ash Ketchum pics on the ready, but you took a second for Yuji? Because I opened up my... You can see this Ash Ketchum image in my old 10 Shadows video from way back when. Well, before I took it down. Actually, no, that video's still up. Choso gets the Neji treatment for Yuji, hashtag barbecue chicken. That's what I'm saying, is that Choso just has the unfortunate livelihood of being a bum. Like, being the secondary guy. He's the hype man. He's Yuji's hype man. And, like, even though What's-Her-Face said, like, Yuki told him, go out there and, like, live as a human now, even though you were a curse before. And let's be real. I would never let Choso reintegrate into society because Choso killed so many civilians. So many goddamn civilians. It's crazy. Where's your chapter 257 review? I didn't have time last week to do a 257 review. I might make a separate video on 258 because chapter reviews, they're kind of fun. If you guys still really want them, I might make one. But I want to make, like, I kind of want to go over my whole thoughts in my next video. I've been trying to learn Premiere Pro. I bought a new editing software, so my next video might take me a little bit. But I want to come out with something, give my thoughts on Yuji and his the whole reincarnation thing with Sukuna's brother, because the whole thing about Jujutsu Kaisen, like the context of Jujutsu Kaisen has shifted greatly, and I love where it's going. I think JJK is set up to have a great ending at this point, because Gege Akutame is clearly paying attention to, like, the foreshadowing they put in the story. A lot of the things have become a little more predictable, but, like, not in a bad way. Like, Yuji being related to Sukuna, that's a payoff. Like, you know, there's a difference between things just coming out and being out of nowhere and having a payoff. Like, something being predictable versus something being a payoff that you're expecting. Yeah, like, everybody knew that Gojo and Sukuna were going to fight. That's just a payoff. Like, you're not like, JJK isn't a predictable bum story because you knew that Gojo and Sukuna were gonna fight. Jaded's still ghosting you on how to use Premiere Pro. No, I just need to ask him, but I'm stubborn, so I try to do it myself first, even though he definitely knows more than me. So I'm, like, bumbling around this editing software because I don't want to, like, bother my friends when like half of them use Premiere Pro. Where are the reviews, Shinobi? They're on their way, just like the dragons in Game of Thrones were. Yes, please, a video, because I don't have time for streams since I have finals. You know, guys, I'll probably just start uploading much shorter videos for a little bit. Usually I don't. I was doing that at the beginning of my channel. What program were you using before? DaVinci Resolve, which I'll probably just have to start using again because I know it better. It's a lot faster for me to make it. The JJK is a payoff mystery. Sukuna is a fraud cannibal. These are some crazy takes, guys. You know, they say stick with the program you know. Stick with the thing you know rather than, like, learning an entirely new thing if you're trying to, like, regularly upload. But Premiere Pro really is a top-of-the-line software. I really enjoy your streams, honestly, and I'll try to... thank you. I appreciate that. I'll try to do more, but I also want to get more content out for people that are waiting for it. But life has been very busy recently, so I was just trying to get my thoughts out here for you guys. Do you think Sukuna's twin was heavily restricted or had his own CT? He might have been heavily restricted. Sukuna is a binding vow merchant. I mean, I don't really think that makes him a bind. I mean, being a binding vow merchant just means you're a god of Jujutsu. That's all I'm hearing. Why do you think Sukuna used a different chant for his domain? probably part of the binding vows, probably part of whatever the hell is going on with the domain expansion Malevolent Shrine. I've seen, like, with the whole freakish looking creature thing, it kind of looks like Chimera Shadow Garden. I know they don't mention it at all in the whole thing here. And let me end this thing. So most people think Yuji's in top 5 now, which is, we're in that conversation, which is crazy. But the whole part with the Malevolent Shrine looking kind of like Chimera Shadow Garden, I do wonder if there's more to Sukuna being the quote-unquote king of curses than just having some CT thing. Like, maybe he has a... I saw one theory of somebody posted on Twitter that he's been holding a cursed spirit hostage, or like other curses hostage, or some spirit, like human souls hostage, because he can go to the afterlife or something. And like the shrine is like a shrine to these deities or whatever. That'd be kind of neat, but to be honest, it's probably a cooking CT. We still waiting on that cereal tier list. That's an easy one to make. Number 1, Captain Crunch. Number 2, I don't know, Cheerios. I hope it is infused with 10 shadows for real. Yeah, they don't say it. They don't say it is, but it might be. It's a definite maybe. Wasn't he also the king of poison? I think he was the... He himself, like his fingers are a lethal poison. I think that was the actual translation there. If you give Yuji 4 months, he will surpass Yuta. I mean, probably. He is Yuji. He is like Sukuna's equal in potential. Do you think JJK is in your top 5 power systems? JJK is my top 1 power system. I don't think there's a better one in anime. I really don't. Speaking of anime, I recently watched Solo Leveling over the weekend. It was okay. Somebody told me to watch it. But man, I don't know, guys. Listen, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's some points in that show where I'm like, this shit feels like it should be having some like Breaking Benjamin playing in the back because of how edgy it was. You know, sometimes I feel like maybe my brain's broken. Maybe I'm just not made for anime anymore. Maybe I got too old. But like, when I read the Crunchyroll comments and people are like, "Oh my god, this is peak," and like I'm just cringing at what's on the screen, it hurts. How did Sukuna's twin soul bounce around? Is Maki's sister's soul bouncing around? Well, his twin soul, you know, the whole thing, Jujutsu Kaisen, is Buddhism. Like, Buddhism is a huge point. Reincarnation is a huge point. When they say it's, like, aimlessly going around, it means, like, he's reincarnating. But since he's a twin, it might be a little different. And for, like, in the case of Mai, it might be that Mai is a character who has gone, like, she might be in the sword. She might still be with Maki, because let's be real, eating your twin sibling is a lot more, say, a negative relationship than them dying for you. Yes, it is edgy. Okay, I'm not the only one that thought that Solo Leveling was edgy. Thank you. Solo Leveling really felt like I was watching a character that was like it seems like the kind of character that the people who love this guy are like, oh man, I want that to be me. That's just how it felt for me. People use peak and goated way too much. Some just don't like to be honest about things. I don't think it's necessarily they aren't honest. I just think, like, you know, a lot of anime fans, I mean, I like, some of them are younger now than me. Like, when I was a kid, everyone called Naruto goated, and it still is. Damn, you can barely pronounce Corporal Shinobi. What did I call it? What did I say this time? Let me carry you on Rainbow Six. You'd have to carry me because I suck ass at that game. I haven't played that game in 7 years. And thank you for the super chat, Cheesy Bread. No, he gets a harem or no? I don't think he gets a harem. I think he just gets like... the one hot girlfriend in Solo Leveling. I think that's what it is. It's a monogamous anime. Naruto is trash. Preach. It's a power fantasy made for self-inserts. Yeah, like Sukuna is kind of treated as a power fantasy by like some Sukuna fans, but like every time they look at themselves in the mirror, they're just like, I'll never have 4 arms. I'll never be like my king. I'll never be like him. It's impossible. Solo leveling was giving me trouble. I just think, what's his face? What's even the main character's name? I literally can't remember. That's not a good look. The manhwa is just better. I've heard it's better. Her has good art. I don't want to cook solo leveling too much. I would just say it didn't feel very inspired to me. It felt like it was a retread of a lot of things I've read before. Which is fine. It has good art and some cool stuff. Like, I'm a sucker for isekai. Like, I liked Overlord. I like my dumb fantasy video game stuff. I can't fathom watching solo leveling. I liked it for the first 3 episodes. I did. I won't lie, though. I did start skipping through the series as I got more bored. The best aspect of this chapter is 100% the art. Thank you for pulling me back, Quentin, to the Jujutsu Kaisen talk. The incomplete Malevolent Shrine. Yeah, 5 double spreads, guys. This was really Gege Akutame. Must have a sore wrist after this. So much effort went into this chapter. And I feel like Gege Akutame, there's a holiday in Japan next week, but they're probably going to be working around the clock for this one. Do I read Boruto 2 Blue Vortex? I have no idea what that is. I've read like the one part of Boruto pre-time skip. I kind of caught up to Boruto. I even made a video on it at one point. There was a hidden Boruto video on this channel. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Boruto. Jinbu is a power fantasy character. I think that's pretty standard for isekai. That's fine. I used to love power fantasy characters when I was younger. I think that's what everybody does, right? That's what it's all about when you're a kid. That's why people like power scaling, is because they're like, oh, my character is the strongest, and like it's who they idolize. True double spreads are always a treat. Yeah, 5 double spreads is insane. And that last panel, Furnace Open, which is so goofy sounding. Furnace. I liked it more when it was Hearth. I don't know what the actual translation. I don't speak Japanese, guys. I'm an American. We hardly speak English. But if it's actually directly translated to Furnace, yeah. What other powers do you think Sukuna has? Almost certainly the Trident. I'm sure that's coming. That might be stored as part of his technique, and the Vajra was something else. Anything related to a cooking, like he probably shapeshifting to some degree, because we saw that in chapter 213. It's a little hard to tell, because it really depends where Gege Akutame wants to take it. If they want to go full cooking CT, or if they want him to start pulling out like a divine arsenal. Because I talked about that a while back. That he might have like a divine arsenal of techniques. Or like all of his techniques are based off divine weaponry. Because the fire arrow is based on the Post-fuga from Hindu mythology, which is like the most powerful arrow shot by, I forget who shot it now. Was it shot by Shiva? I think it was, but it's one of the most powerful of the... I cannot for the life of me remember the names of these things. I'm not a mythology expert. Ostras. It's one of the most powerful ostras in Hindu mythology, which were like weapons formed in the hands of like gods. It was the most powerful one. So if he starts forming weapons in his hands, I wouldn't be surprised. Supreme Art, lamb sauce. Was it Indra? It was probably Indra. Who shot the Post-fuga? Shiva had also released the arrow from his bow. Arjuna, I don't even know who that is. Gotta read up more. My favorite is when people are getting into arguments in like comment sections about Makora or Makara. Makora versus Maharaga. Or Makara, for the exact pronunciation. But the main point is that Maharagas, like the whole snake people in Hindu mythology, and Makara, the deity, like Maharaga takes after both. So it's just hilarious to me when people say like, oh no, it's actually this one. Like he literally takes on like a snake tail on his head on top of being the divine general. So just interesting to me. It just seems like people are very pedantic for some reason. Don't try, bro. I have to try. I'm a YouTuber. All I do is mispronounce things, and then they correct me in the comments, and it ups the engagement. That's what it's all about. Yo, what's up? Hey, Alonzi. Even though I know you and know how that's pronounced, I mispronounce it all the time. I really am just the worst with English. Oh, what's up, China Doll? Watch Fate, a good series that I guess you don't want to read more mythology. I've watched Fate before. I don't really read battle anime that much, to be honest, or like anime that primarily revolve around battles, just because it's not my favorite part of a story usually. Jujutsu Kaisen's kind of a rare thing for me, because I like the characters a lot, and Jujutsu Kaisen has the benefit that some people talk about unwanted characters in JJK all the time, like Todo, for example. But the thing with JJK is that JJK doesn't actually have a huge roster compared to a lot of shonen. And so when you have a character like Todo just vanishes, it's so unusual for Jujutsu Kaisen to just give zero closure to a side character that him vanishing is just odd. People point it out a lot. Because the main roster of Jujutsu Kaisen has been pretty small. Like, most of the characters are pretty easy to name. Even like side characters like Naobito. The whole domain concept from them too. Yeah. Bro, Todo got done so dirty. He might come back. He might boogie woogie Tengen out of Sukuna and just replace it with a mini nuke. Just boogie woogie Tengen out and just like have a Hikari bomb pre-planned. Just like have Hikari in jackpot, pump cursed energy into like a Mechamaru bomb, and then just clap it into Sukuna. It'd probably work, right? Quirkless, what's your top 3 manga? 1 Berserk, 2 AOT, 3 Jujutsu Kaisen. Nah, Todo gone. No, they swapped. They gave him RCT so he could clap again. Maximum boogie woogie. He swaps like 2 parts of your own body. Quirkless, what will Megumi be able to do if all of his shadows are destroyed? I have a lot of thoughts on this, actually. First of all, Totality Maharaga is the obvious. Like, if any Shikigami has a totality, it's probably Maharaga. And there's also the chance that the true form of a complete Chimera Shadow Garden might just bring back his Shikigami. What if Yuta can make his domain barrierless? I don't think making a barrierless domain really helps the overall like effect of your domain. It just seems to change the range. It's like it has a lot of utility, but like as far as your output is concerned, it seems to be the same. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing contradicting that as of right now. You get the obvious benefit of the binding vow is like auto formed after making the escape route that gives it like the 200-meter radius, which is really useful, as we just saw. Yeah, complete open barrier Chimera Shadow Garden. There's a real chance Megumi will get that if he has the muscle memory of making like what, 4 open barriers now from Sukuna. Horkless just lied. Number 1 JJK, 2 JJK, 3 JJK. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. They're all of my favorite manga are Jujutsu Kaisen. Imagine Boogie Woogie domain, but apply the way Naoya's domain is. That would be pretty whack. Boogie Woogie domain. What a wacky domain that would be. Like the goddamn circus domain. We need a Heian-era flashback chapter. I agree. And thank you for bringing this up, as it moves me into topic, whatever I had written down here that I went off topic from. Yes, Sukuna and Yuji. So let's bring up an image of a binding vow real quick, and let's pull up an image of our boy Yuji Itadori. Oh, not Yuji, excuse me, Sukuna and Yuji. Because the way we have it now, where Sukuna and Yuji are related to each other, it really does recontextualize the entire series. When you go back and reread Jujutsu Kaisen, which I definitely want to do now, it's so odd. Like it makes it's a lot more interesting to me seeing that Yuji, the entire time Gojo is training the nephew of Sukuna, he is training the son of Kenjaku. He is training like the son of Sukuna's twin brother, who might have his twin brother's soul in him now or something. It's such an interesting thing to me in the story. Maybe other people don't feel the same, but if you watch my channel long enough, you know that I've always been a huge fan of like the whole twin theory and Yuji being like a reincarnation or related to Sukuna. So it adds a lot to the story. Yuji is Sukuna, yeah, that's what it seems like. He has like he was a finger. Born, same guy basically. That seems to be where it's going. It's that like so Yuji is going to be what Sukuna could have been. Like Sukuna hates Yuji in large part because Yuji is everything Sukuna could have been. He is the person that Sukuna, like he's a kind person that Sukuna could have been, and now Sukuna's stuck with that reality that this endless hunt for strength, this needless hunt for strength, really was not necessary. Odds of Megumi taking back control due to Sukuna being so weakened and stopping the fire arrow. Probably not going to happen. I do think they will need Megumi to stop him. But like that's pretty clearly set up that like Megumi is a pretty easy way out of this whole shebang. But on the topic of Yuji and Megumi, is that Yuji is basically, like, Megumi is in between Sukuna and Sukuna. Like, he is, like, of the three main characters of Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna, Yuji, and Megumi, Megumi is stuck between two Sukunas the entire time, basically. And Sukuna 1 hates everybody and thinks power over everything is the answer, and Sukuna 2, Yuji, thinks that saving everybody is the option, true altruism is the option, and that's where you can find strength in. And Megumi chooses to save people unfairly, and they're both close to Megumi in different ways, which I think is very interesting. Sukuna's jealous Yuji's mother loved him, and I think it's a good point, Lin, in that Yuji had a much better life growing up than Sukuna did, and I'm sure Sukuna on some level is pissed off by that. He's pissed off, on the sheer fact that Yuji is in direct opposition of his ideology, but Yuji is also him. So everything Yuji does, every time Yuji gets a W, it's a W, like, to Sukuna, if it's a W in a way he wouldn't have done it, it's like one stolen from him, or one that kind of pisses him off. Because Sukuna is forced to recognize this reflection in his mirror, that Yuji, that like his whole life didn't have to turn out this way, that he didn't have to be such a shit. And I think that's the biggest thing they're going to try to tell us in the story. And I think the vision of Gege Akutame is becoming very clear now we have this revelation that Yuji and Megumi, like Yuji, Megumi, and Sukuna, particularly Yuji and Sukuna's going to have regret at the end of the story. I think that's the point. And like the satisfaction he's going to find in someone else, it would be like satisfaction in himself knowing that like having maybe not a revelation about what his life could have been, but more so a revelation about a regret. Just like a pure regret at the end of his life. That's what I think we're building up to. I don't think he'll ever like he'll never love Yuji, but he will have, it'll be like bittersweet. That's what I think we're going towards. I know I rambled there a little bit, but we are on live stream, so sometimes it's hard to completely get my thoughts together in one moment. Jerry. What's up, Flame? Why are you saying Jerry? Let me read chat here. Huge connections between a starving mother, a consumed twin in the womb, and I was a cursed, unwanted child, and his CT. Yeah, Sukuna's bitter. Very bitter in life. It's always strange to me when people say that Sukuna's not bitter about things, and like, Sukuna hates himself. He really does. And he literally hates himself in Yuji. Like, that is a direct manifestation of his own self-hatred. I don't know if it's like, it's clearly intentional. I don't know if it's like a, no, it's not necessarily one-to-one. But when Sukuna says, eating people, the taste of people, like the taste of humans, is as varied as it is fleeting, the perfect thing to slurp up until I die, Sukuna hates his life on some level. Yeah, what's up, Flame? Good to see you. Flame's besties here. My friend called Sukuna a whiny child, and I am dying. He is kind of a whiny child. I mean, the Sukuna slander's endless, but he really is a pretty immature person that, like, never really had an opportunity to grow up and, like, find a different way in life, because from the sounds of it, like he said, he's an unwanted child, neglected, probably like a parasitic twin to some degree, because it sounds like, you know, I had to do some twin research for this whole thing. And, you know, a parasitic twin, someone that gets absorbed into the body of their twin in the womb. That sounds like what Sukuna did to Yuji. Just ate him, and maybe not literally, but figuratively. Or they got combined through Jujutsu on some level. I don't see the Sukuna hates himself agenda, to be honest. I mean, it's not an agenda, it's just true. I mean, he pretty much says it. He says, like, he's just passing the time until he dies. Like, nobody who's not depressed is saying things like that. I hear that twins sometimes do eat each other in the womb and the mother hates them after. That'd be pretty rough. I do wonder if Tengen is the mother of Sukuna because she was in possession of his body under one of her barriers, which is very strange. Especially when Tengen's original form kind of looks like Urame. Like, that is a crazy stretch, I know. But, like, I've always wondered, why the fuck is Urame following Sukuna around? Because, like, they're not in a relationship or anything. Sukuna doesn't love anybody. But, like, why does he deal with her? I know she's a chef. Or him. I know they're, whatever, ambiguous. The point is, Urame, why are they there? Like, just being a chef, if that is actually a pure chef, that is the most loyal chef anyone could ever ask for. That's like having Gordon Ramsay just, like, also be your #1 servant at the same time. What chapter is Tengen's original form from? I believe it was just a side drawing that Gege Akutami released. I don't think it's in an actual chapter. It might be at, like, an end of chapter panel or something. Like an extra page. If Sukuna really got all his output back, then shouldn't Yuji just get torn apart after his simple domain shattered? All he lost was a leg. Yeah, because Yuji's him. Yuji's built different. Yuji's just that strong. Who wouldn't want a chef with him 24/7? I mean, that's fair on the Sukuna part, but I'm more curious as to why Urame has, like, it's not just like an, oh, I like Sukuna. They have an undying loyalty to him. I'm curious why that is. Like, maybe he saved her. Maybe he did something else. I do wonder. Though, to be fair, they're both kind of, like, morally reprehensible. He has had to find the chef with the fewest moral quandaries. Hot take: Kenny and Tengen were together and created Sukuna. I don't think it's a hot take. and I'm kind of on that train that Kenjaku and Tengen are the parents of Sukuna. Because him being an unwanted child, or like them being, first of all, the like in a different way. I'm gonna try to get my thoughts together on this one. In some way, Kenjaku's already the dad of Yuji, so he's already the father of like a Sukuna kind of, and him being the original father of the OG twins that then 180 each other, and his mother's blight, the way he says it, like I ate my twin brother to survive my mother's blight. And Tengen says that, oh, the culling games, like, this is a ritual that she's done before. And Kenjaku says, oh, Tengen didn't tell you everything. The culling game's true purpose is... And then it's left blank. It sounds like Tengen really screwed over Japan at one point. And, like, this is a second culling games. And also, thank you very much for the super chat, Jamaica Queens. No, I think Sukuna has some type of feelings for Urame. He just doesn't realize it because this whole ideology doesn't fit the fact with them always being together. I mean, maybe. Sukuna does kind of seem like one giant loner his whole life. So him having a servant that like follows him around is just very strange. I'm okay with Tengen being Sukuna's mother, not Kenny. It just doesn't fit right. Well, he wouldn't be, he'd be Sukuna's dad or something. Because it definitely sounds like Kenjaku and Tengen were at least friends. And if they're like, this is anime, like they're like one of the only, like, oh, they're both together, and like there are two kids, and we know that like Kenjaku is 100% down to get railed for the cause. Jin being the twin killed Kenjaku parent theory, in my opinion. I don't think so. Oh, well, maybe. I mean, that would actually... Hold on. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. That would be the worst, that would be the worst family dynamic ever. Kenjaku isn't Sukuna's dad. It would make no sense. Sukuna and Kenjaku met when they were younger. Is that ever said anywhere? I think they just said I think they only just talked to each other like they knew each other. I don't think we ever actually get the information of when they met. It's a super complicated family dynamic. It really is. That Kenjaku sure is twisted, would take on a whole new meaning. I'm good. I'm good with that never ever happening. I don't need that in my anime, okay? I like the Mei shit is enough for me for like fucked up things in Jujutsu Kaisen. That's the peak right there. Kenjaku is for the streets. Yeah, he is. Dude, the fact that Ui is like out here is one of the most useful characters in all Jujutsu Kaisen is something I never knew. I never expected. Is Kusakabe the strongest? Strongest grade 1. Also, how did anyone ever discover their CT's immortality? Did they get killed and then figure it out? I feel like with immortality as a technique, Jujutsu sorcerers seem to have some like supernatural understanding of their own curse technique. Like characters just know like, oh, this is the hand sign I have to use to summon my divine dogs, or things like that, or like, it's to exercise the next Shikigami. Like there are a ton of things that make no sense otherwise. Like, oh, this is the Madra for my curse technique. Or to domain expansion. I'm assuming they just kind of like get it uploaded into their brain on some level. They just never died of age. Yeah, that would be pretty funny if like you just got a curse technique that was immortality and you didn't know you were immortal, so you're just expecting to like live a normal life your whole time. And by like year 200, you're like, I guess I'm just not dying. I thought I was just a record breaker, but turns out I'm actually a goddamn immortal. No, there are people who don't know their own CT. I mean, it's true they don't, but like a lot of them do learn, like do learn things about their own CT on some level. How would Gojo know the exact names for someone's curse technique? Well, you see, the 6 eyes actually operate like a UI, and it pops up and like gives him the official name. It just like types it out to him. You wake up one day looking like a thumb and wonder where it all went wrong. Oh, we know where that went wrong. That was probably the whole culling games. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining about Sukuna getting too powerful, but like, are we really? Is anyone really shocked that he pulled out a fire arrow? Like, until this, let's think about it this way, everyone. The laws of anime dictate that for a character to die, they have to pop off if they're an important character in a battle anime. So for Gojo to die, he had to get off the super ultimate hollow purple on Maharaga. He could not die before he did something cool. For Sukuna to die, he has to get off the nuclear fire arrow and like reveal his technique and bop a bunch of nobodies. But he's also, when he reveals his technique, he is now officially mortal. Like, once he has pulled out his whole bag, Sukuna can then finally get into his final fight and die. That's just how anime be. I want him to pull out 2 more arms and go full send. Yeah, I really do think Sukuna's just gonna regen again. Like, he's locked in. He's 100% locked in at this point. Big clans have a lot of info on CTs in general, especially inherited ones. I mean, that is definitely true. They do, but I'm just curious, like, when it comes to domain expansions, all the domain expansion hand signs are, like, they're hand signs in real life. So, like, unless all of these characters have, like, read up and been like, okay, this mantra is perfect for my domain expansion, it just seems like it's instinctual on some level to understand your technique. At least for a domain expansion. He's still got the last part of Shrine to pull out. Yeah, I mean, I think Sukuna's on the warpath now, is what I mean, in the sense that Sukuna's now... He's showcasing his bag. He's dipping into the whole thing. Do you think the region will be like Piccolo? I don't know what that means in the sense of DBZ, because I haven't read it, but maybe. You have to enlighten me on that one, Alex. But Gojo was the whole clan, just him. That is true. He wrote the whole book. He was actually every single previous 6 Eyes user. I mean, to be honest, probably, because they are reincarnations of each other. Hercules, what technique do you want, and what technique do you think would suit you? Immortality. That's what I want. Because then I could learn everything. I want, like, a fast-working brain with immortality. Jujutsu, because if Jujutsu is real, then I can, like, learn how to make myself a cursed object and, like, yoink other people's curse techniques. So I'll just have, like, I'll just have an immortal one to, like, take a lifetime to learn how to do all that. Because clearly, you can get pretty OP with, like, the basics of Jujutsu. And a longer period of time to do that sounds pretty good. And I'm really not talented at anything, so it might take me like 1,000 years to like get 1% of a Sukuna finger. Like, I'm not gonna bet on the natural talent with my curse techniques. Just like give me 1,000 years to like become mid and then get like make a binding vow or something, get like my own finger, my own Sukuna finger. No, I don't want Kenjaku's technique. I don't want to be a brain. I'd rather have no curse technique than become brain. I feel like we'll get the Sukuna flashback with the Yuji memory CT. I think that, yeah, the Yuji memory might just be memories of his... It's interesting you bring this up, and thank you very much for the super chat, Leo. But it's interesting that you bring up the whole memory thing, because my friend and I were talking about this, that the memories that, like, this whole memory thing might be, like, the soul of Sukuna's brother, or, like, the original memories, because we don't know, like, they say that the twin soul fell into Kenjaku's hand, so it might be, like, that fragment of Sukuna might be in Yuji now. From the sounds of it, is like the whole finger thing. So it might be his twin brother's soul looking for a brother, and that's what the other characters are seeing in this like spirit realm. Because Sukuna found it very curious when Choso was like freaking out, and it might just be, so I think it might just be the brother of Sukuna eternally looking to find his brother again, which would be like super fucked up and sad, but maybe. You'll turn into Kenny if you want that technique. Go get Yuji's dad. No, guys, I'm saying I want immortality because, like, I mean, I'm sure there are other ways to yoink techniques than, like, pure maliciousness. I'm just saying I need immortality to become good at Jujutsu because there's no goddamn way I'm doing it in a human lifetime. Chef Sukuna cooking the cast in Malevolent Kitchen next chapter. Crunchyroll called it first. Yeah, the greatest spoiler mistranslation of all time. I have to wonder if like Gege Akutame was on the board for that, and like they told Mappa like, oh, he's gonna have a cooking technique, and Mappa's just like, let's just put the word in for like Malevolent Kitchen and all that, and he's like, hold up, it's not in the manga yet, and they're like, oh shit, cut it out, go back. Comedian is obviously the answer for me. Comedian would be pretty good. I mean, really, Takava is the truest good character in the entire story for me. Takava, really, no killing. Like, that's better than most people. What's an OP combo of 2 CTs you think is cool? Clone plus idol transfiguration for you? That's a good question. Actually, I'm curious. I'll ask this to everybody. What's an OP combo of 2 CTs? And don't say Shrine and 6 Eyes plus Limitless. But you can put in like if you say Limitless, I don't know. Let's say you can only pick one of 6 Eyes or Limitless because you can't just have both. It's a little like it's too obvious at that point. Everyone's just gonna pick Limitless. So for me, it'd probably be Coffee seems really useful, but not like a lot of synergy. Potential synergy. Sky Manipulation with Yuki's CT. You kind of just be a monstrous, you'd be an absolutely monstrous hand-to-hand fighter where you would just like appear in front of them and like float down and then just punch a hole through their head. Boogie Woogie plus 10 shadows. I mean, Boogie Woogie, yeah, Boogie Woogie. There's a lot of options of Boogie Woogie. Idle Death Gamble plus 10 shadows. That would be kind of neat. Boogie Woogie plus Idle Transfiguration. You could definitely screw people over with that pretty hard. Man, everyone's picking Boogie Woogie. Jacob's Ladder and Boogie Woogie. Guys, okay, Jacob's Ladder with Boogie Woogie, that's actually kind of goated because you can just pop them into your own bomb. I guess anything with like a nuclear explosion plus Boogie Woogie is pretty good. Like Shrine with Boogie Woogie, just Boogie Woogie them until like your fire arrow. You just like plant, I don't know, just the shittiest curse tool. Yeah, you can swap anything with cursed energy. So just pick the shittiest curse tool, like throw a little like butter knife on the ground and then just swap them out with your nuclear bomb. Boogie Woogie plus teleport, 10 shadows and idle transfiguration. Twerk out with other YouTubers, you're winning. Oh, cheesy. Thank you for super chats. I'm a little confused by that one though. Cleave and dismantle plus furnace. I see what you did there. The Droop Shikigami plus ice manipulation. Ice manipulation is a good point. Ice manipulation, Urame. Urame CT should be strong. She just doesn't get to show it that much. I mean, she did the Frost Calm at maximum output, and that kind of like locked down Maki in one hit. Low-key, I think I can take Quirky in that contest. I mean, yeah, most YouTubers could probably beat my ass, if that's what we're talking about. Oh, actually, this wasn't a boxing match. Never mind. You guys heard nothing. Creation technique and 6 eyes. That is one I've thought of before. If not immortal, would you rather have a complicated CT like Higuruma or no CT like Maki or Toji? I would probably say a complicated CT like Higuruma because then it gives you a lot of options to figure out. Alright, so let's get back to the chapter that I have gone. You guys have come up with many interesting things, but I do have one more question here. A lot of people are confused recently if the TCB translation is less of a question and more of a conversation, in that they do contradict themselves a little bit, where they say that Sukuna has, through amidst a maelstrom of uncertainties and impromptu binding vows, Ryomen Sukuna's rush of black flashes allowed his malevolent shrine to burst forth once more with no loss in output or range, and that's from TCB. And then later in the chapter it says that by enveloping his domain in an outer shell barrier, the binding vow brought about by allowing an escape route disappeared. This not only resulted in a narrowed range, but also changed the operation of the domain. Within the materialized landscape, the sure hit effect would activate. And that's how it would otherwise have been impossible to seize Zenin Maki unbounded by cursed energy. So a lot of people are saying this is a contradiction. But to me, it seems like he changed, so two things. Either it is a contradiction, and it's just a mistranslation. They're saying that, it is open now, and if it was closed, it wouldn't have worked. Or, and I can't show it here right now, because I just don't want this stream taken down by YouTube, because the chapter's not even out yet. But the other option is that he changed the conditions mid-fight. So he opened up this chapter with a open barrier, and then he closed it. And then within that materialized landscape, he was hitting everything. Complicated CT actually doesn't give you options. I mean, it might not. But the more complicated it is, you never know. I thought they said Maki couldn't be targeted now. They said that she can, and that's why Miwa's sitting there defending her. Because it seems like he took Malevolent Shrine to just be an unlimited void where it's hitting everything within that landscape. It was even hitting the symbol domains. So even if Maki is occupying the space there, the slashes will hit her because they're just going out in general. They're not just targeting they didn't narrow it down. That was my interpretation. Did you see how Miwa was protecting Maki in the chapter? Yeah. Oh yeah. Miwa's simple domaining a Malevolent Shrine. Yeah, the power scaling for simple domains in these characters and a full output Malevolent Shrine is kind of hilarious because Gojo got his broken in 2 seconds by Sukuna just stepping near him. And this is supposed to be a full power Malevolent Shrine for 90 seconds, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, if I'm being honest. But I'll take the Yuji feat. I always take the Yuji feat. Because he just ate that shit point blank. Or, as point blank as it could be. So Sukuna's domain is like Megumi's domain. That's what it seemed to be at least when he operated it in this way. I guess she's not that useless. Yeah, useless Miwa saved Maki Zenin. Crazy. Oh, I'm still going by the shitty translations. That's my fault. I mean, to be fair, there are many shitty translations, so I can't really dog you for that. I misread things all the time in the series. You know, it always feels bad to be horribly wrong about something, but you know what they say? Better a fool for like... better like a fool for a moment than a fool for a lifetime. So getting corrected is usually one of the best things that can happen. Lol HF. For €5, Miwa is going to one-shot Sukuna with a double-layer domain any second now. Thank you very much for the super chat. And a double-layer domain. Oh my god. I mean, that would be cool. I do hope we get to see like a whole new type of domain expansion. Shinobi, doesn't the shrine also look like the merger? A little bit. It also kind of looks like when Malevolent Shrine forms, it does kind of have like a face to it, so it might just be like a fucked up whatever the hell is in that shrine. But like a super like you're a TikTok surgeon and you're going to work, and like this is like the rendition of your plastic surgery. This is the plastic surgeon Malevolent Shrine. Medical license revoked. But it might be Chimera Shadow Garden. It could be Tengen. But the way they talk about Sukuna, the way they talk about his CT, it seems like there is something inherently messed up about this guy. Like he's not natural, and his whole domain expansion looking totally malformed and disgusting. That's pretty par for the course. And it looks like it has his eyes on it. And it even has like the little mouth is starting to form around the shrine. Like over the eyeball. So maybe he has a giant creature stored in there. It's an option. What if that's his twin in the shrine? It's funny you say that, because I wondered, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I thought the domain was incomplete because the wording makes it seem like it was just thrown together. It is thrown together, but it's a thrown together domain that is at full power for 90 seconds. So it's like you just like put a new engine in your you just made a makeshift engine, tossed it in your Ferrari, and your Ferrari is at 100%, but then it just like goes off a bridge within 90 seconds. Like the brakes just give out, and it's over. Speaking of plastic surgery, Quirkless, why am I getting ads on lip fillers on the stream? The YouTube has full control over that, okay? I don't get to choose which ads they run, like what they're targeting. It's so clearly they're targeting, like, I don't know what my target demographic is, okay? But it wasn't what I thought. That's all I know. Usually I put like the lowest option on ads and streams, but geez. I know they don't let you pick. They don't let you pick, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would spam everyone with like the Dune Part 2 movie trailers. Why don't he just use the World Slash as a sure hit? Because the World Slash is like a separate usage of the technique. Like it's a use of his technique outside. It's the same way that like Gojo that can't hollow purple is his sure hit. At least as far as we know. Hiroklo's first sponsor stream? No, I'm probably never gonna take a sponsorship, to be honest. I feel like sponsors really like to force your video to be one way, and this is a one-man show as of right now. And I don't want it to turn corporate. Who is it? Like the one big YouTuber, Oompaville, dude. That guy just made a whole candy store. If you're gonna go corporate, make your own shop, make candy. Dude, start a coffee business. Would it be a Heian era shrine, or is it messed up because Sukuna ate 8 black flashes and his curse energy is all messed up? I think this shrine is. We're gonna get more explanations on it pretty soon, but I'm guessing it's an amalgamation of a bunch of stuff, and like the whole fucked up look is as a result of the binding vow. Maybe 10 Shadows was involved. We'll have to see. I don't know if you already answered, but who do you think the second soul Yuji swapped into was? I'm guessing it was Yuta or Gojo, because Gojo is one, like Gojo's an obvious one. But the way they set it up, him having 2 options, it just seems like that's an easy way to have characters who are, like, if Kusakabe is spending the entire month training Yuji, then he can't really train himself. So I'm guessing he trained Yuji, taught him the stuff, and then Kusakabe got swapped into a more powerful guy, or somebody more powerful than Kusakabe swapped with him, gave him his stuff. And that's that. Respect. Oh, I wouldn't respect. I'll probably take a sponsorship one day, just not right now. I don't want to have this here and be like, oh man, I'll never take a sponsorship, and then one day I just pop out, like I just give in. Quirkless, I think he ate Kashimo. Look at the shrine panel. A Kashimo. You take that back. I don't see any Kashimo here. I see a face. I see a very disgusting face. Kashimo would never look like that. Fans want Gojo still to be Shoko or some shit. Yuta, my bet. Yeah, I think it's Yuta. That's what Flame thinks it is as well. Eternal Flame. Probably Gojo teaching domain us, but he's sucks as a teacher. Sponsorships are fine because we can just skip and you still get the bag. I appreciate it, Boris, but it's more like usually they'll ask you to like dedicate an entire segment, and it completely breaks the flow for me. Like when I'm editing, like it's hard to fit certain things in areas. It's hard to explain, but it bothers me personally. It's my own hang up. It's definitely Yuta. Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. But speaking of Shoko, Shoko's probably going to get nuclear bombed. Like, if Gege Akatame wants to be absolutely malicious, they'll just have, like, the upper torso of Gojo, like, open his eyeball, like, right as he gets bombed by the fire arrow. Like it's some Madara shit. Like, Yuta says, oh man, I'm glad I just recovered from my slashes. Is Gojo okay? And Shoko says, it took all of my effort, but I think he's finally stabilized and the bomb just hits. It's over. And like while Yuta's burned on the ground, he's like, "Oh man, I really thought I was going to get back into this fight, but it would take. I'm so glad Hikari is still alive because he's stronger than me, and like me and Rika could never with any of our techniques." I was thinking that too after seeing Eternal's vid. If Sukuna figured out where the location is, he's nuking that building. Yeah, I mean, he probably does know where it is. Those guys are lucky they didn't get caught in Malevolent Shrine range previously. Like, what's her face? Yutahime and Gaku Ganji. They're still around somewhere. Like, Utahime could boost people's output. But she might just be too weak, to be honest. Gojo stops a fire arrow with his infinity and then dies to save the other patients. Yeah, he just burns out his brain with like the final time, just like expands the whole infinity barrier around it. Hikari is a bum. Hikari's still up and still active. That's all I'm saying. Dude, Yuta might be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. You never know. Quirkless. So Yuji over Yorozu right now, or could the Soul Punch just be putting in work and he has Simple Domain now? Of course, Simple Domain would break to any domain, so there's that. I mean, Simple Domain would break eventually to any domain, but it took on a full output Malevolent Shrine for like 90 seconds. That's really, really good. That's better than like 99% of simple domains. To put that in perspective, Yuki's Simple Domain didn't last like 10 seconds in Kenjaku's domain. She couldn't even get to him. Seven steps north to just immediately get cooked. That's what it's all about. Yep. I mean, Gojo, guys, like, the way they're setting up the story right now, Gojo coming back is seeming just, I don't think it's happening. I don't see a place to fit it. I don't see the point in fitting it in either. Like, he's not going to beat Sukuna, that's for sure. He's not going to come back and fight. Like, he's not going to come back and be the one to defeat Sukuna. That is abundantly clear with how they set up Yuji now. Yuji is Sukuna's equal, potentially. And Megumi is coming back cracked. That's not an anti-feat Quirkless. Who else has an open domain? Sukuna. The Kenjaku superior, Sukuna. I see Gojo only if the merger creature is that powerful. Maybe. But like the merger creature, I don't see the merger creature happening in the way people think it will. If it is just a giant monster, that's gonna be like the most boring fight in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, who wants 10 Tails 2? The inconsistency in power scaling, Miwa can Simple Domain in the Malevolent Kitchen. Well, they're all stronger. They all cheated. They said as much. Well, my point, besides Sukuna and Kenjaku, obviously, my point is, Plank, that Yuki's Simple Domain lasted like 9 seconds, like maybe 10 seconds in a Kenjaku domain, and Yuji and everyone else just sat their Simple Domain in like the most powerful sorcerer ever with the open barrier, with another guy with an open barrier with Sukuna. And Sukuna has way better feats than anything Kenjaku is. Like, Kenjaku has some good statements. That's about it. At least for compared to like Sukuna. So if you're surviving your Simple Domain for 90 seconds, or you're having your Simple Domain survive for 90 seconds in a Malevolent Shrine, that's just a crazy feat at full output. If you're doing that, your Simple Domain's working in like 99% of domain expansions for a significantly long time. Wasn't this domain closed barrier though? I mean, either way, the output of the Malevolent Shrine was the same. Like, it's no less potent. It just has a different condition. Which I think is crazy, personally. A full output Malevolent Shrine just, like, being survived is absolutely insane. And they said that the range was the same. Like, if anything, he changed the condition. Because it looked open barrier initially, and then it seems like he changed the condition part of the way, like halfway through, or something. Unless TCV is just contradicting themselves. Maybe Simple Domain goes down faster in open domains or something. Maybe. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Kenjaku is just that guy, second best barrier user, only other person to have CTR, only person to use his body as a domain, one of the few to have a maximum. I know, Plank, you're a big Kenjaku fan. I mean, if he was that guy, you'd think he'd be able to capture some curse spirits that were strong enough to fight Rika and Yuta for like more than 5 minutes. That's all I'm saying. Unless like Truck Kun actually took out like the god tier curse spirit. The only person Gege loves more than Sukuna is Yuji, to be honest. I don't think Gege really loves Sukuna. I think he just wanted Sukuna to be the strongest character in the series and put him there. Like, when you look at like how JJK is set up, Gojo's a pretty obvious, like, okay, here's the power ceiling. Here's a good metric to judge like where a top tier character is. And then they build up Sukuna as the guy who's gonna kill him. Why didn't Gojo learn domain amplification? Because Gojo's not that talented. I'm kidding. Because it's just too hard for him. He didn't know how to do it, or he had no reason to use it. I mean, the only people who use domain amplification are Higuruma, who is unbelievably talented with barriers, and the disaster curses after being taught by Kenjaku, and Sukuna. I don't think anybody else does besides them. Truck-kun over JJK verse. Yeah, Truck-kun just like took out the absolute god of all curse spirits, just like in one panel. Featless, but remembered. I'd say that Sukuna, Toji, and Nanami are his favorite characters. I mean, I believe it, to be honest. He made Gojo for JJK 0. He then makes Jujutsu Kaisen as the story of Megumi, Yuji, and Sukuna. He still has all the legacy characters there. He wants to yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I like it. I mean, personally, I never expected Gojo to win, so. There are people mad to this day. Like, I only know what they thought was going to happen. I really don't. Like, the moment I opened up Jujutsu Kaisen and I read Gojo say, "I win," I skipped ahead in the manga instantly, and I was like, okay, when does he die? When does this guy eat his words? Like, Gojo is up his own ass in a completely different way from Sukuna. Like, Sukuna is certainly up his own ass and prideful. But like the way that Gojo acts is like he just feels like a power fantasy character, and I love watching power fantasy characters get bonked. Like, if Gojo was like super humble, if he was a humble character and he was like he had the same power set and everything, he was a humble character, I probably would have been like, I was rooting for him in the sense I wanted him to save Megumi, but like as a character, Gojo is such an ass. Like, I'd never want to be friends with that guy. And like, to be fair, he has depth that a lot of characters that are a power fantasy, or like, you know, what people use as power fantasy don't. Like, Gojo is a pretty well written character. He does have a lot more to him than just being a strong guy. Which is good, because you can appreciate a character even if you don't like their personality, if they're written well. Sukuna was on track to break the Black Flash record, and Yuji just doubled it. And Sukuna is mad now. Sukuna is definitely pissed. He is pissed off. Do you think this fire arrow is stronger than the one used against Jogo and Maharaga? Oh, almost certainly. Or at the very least the same. Did I miss a super chat? No, I didn't. Gojo is indeed just a solo leveling power fantasy character. I think he is way better than the character in solo leveling, Song Jinwoo, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm terrible with Korean names. But Gojo has a lot more depth. Gojo does have a character underneath the power fantasy. A lot of power fantasy characters from Isekai, like Kirito, don't exactly have anything beyond being OP. Gojo's not like that. Which is why I do think he's a good character, I really do. Who's your favorite dead JJK character? Fun stream. Thank you very much for the fun stream and the for the membership thing. My favorite dead JJK character is Nanami, because Nanami is someone I want to be my dad. That's that simple. How my dad doesn't hear me ever say that, but yeah. Gojo is also smart. Gojo is smart in his own way. definitely. And like he also he's flawed, and like they don't treat his being a dick as a good character trait. I mean, the fan base does. Gojo fans wank the shit like, oh, he's so cool with like how he treats everyone like shit and beneath him. But like the actual characters in the story, Gege Akatame treats Gojo's negative personality traits as a negative, which I like a lot, unlike Isekai, which is like, oh, this character is like the Himothy Timothy, and like everybody loves him, and his girlfriend is like super hot in Solo Leveling, and like she also loves him, and he beats everyone, and every single time he's about to lose, he pulls out some new bullshit. Because he's just him. It just feels like it's written for kids, and like when they do characters like that, which to be fair, it is literally written for kids, but I don't think a story for a demographic of teenagers has to be has to fall into the trap of making it cringe for adults. There are plenty of stories that can have like a target demographic of young adults or like 18, 19 and have deeper themes. Sounds like Gojo. No, I think Gojo has trauma. Gojo does have like legitimate trauma that he tries to work through, and he hides it underneath like a mask. Gojo is a good character. Gojo has gone through a lot, and he may be a dick, but you can see that he was always a dick growing up. He was always up his own ass. But after the events of, like we can see it with the Jogo thing, you can see he's very much an asshole and treats everyone like shit, especially Jogo. Though to be fair, Jogo was a fucking cursed spirit, so he kind of had it coming. But let's say in the case of Gojo, after the events of Hidden Inventory, he is depressed. He lost his best friend effectively, and someone that he failed in this mission. A teenage girl got killed underneath his watch. And it's at that point he's like, I hate all of this. I'm going to change the Jujutsu society. And of all the negative character traits of him being an asshole to everybody and him being full of himself didn't really go away. His overall motivations did. And that's why I think Gojo does have nuance, where a character like Solo Leveling's main protagonist doesn't have that nuance. He's just up his own ass because he's the strongest, and that's all there really is to his character. That's my TED Talk on why Gojo is actually pretty good for an OP character. Crook, let's make a case for Overlord being the best isekai. Well, first of all, it has a fucking ugly Lich King as the #1 dude, which automatically puts it above like 95% of isekai, dude. That anime had the balls to make the main character just like this freakishly like creature Lich King. That is not an anime MO, but I appreciated it. It's definitely my favorite isekai. There is some cringe in anime, guys. I don't know if you've been aware. I don't know if you've heard on the streets that there is cringe in anime. And there is certainly cringe in Overlord and many in isekai, but they aren't all bad. They do have redeeming qualities occasionally. Quirkless, you know Konosuba is the best isekai. I do now. After you enlightened me. Gojo always fought for the kids to be able to enjoy themselves, so I guess he missed that in his own childhood. I think there is some truth to that, yeah. Yeah, I think Gojo's motivations are altruistic. He is definitely a good guy. Like, Gojo is a good guy, but he is not a good guy. He's not a great guy. He's a good guy. He's kind of a shitty person, but I mean, he's a good guy, fundamentally, in action. He's not really the person I want to be around all the time. But if there's like a world-ending threat, I would definitely ask him for help, because I know he has the world's best interests at heart, usually. I have to admit that the respect for Sukuna is falling off since the end of the coming games. Like, in what way? Like, your respect, or the respect of the characters, or just like... Gojo's in that gray area. He is. He's like kind of... He's like your You're anti-hero almost, to be honest. I'm glad he's not the protagonist. You know, if a bunch of young guys are gonna go crazy over a powerful character in Jujutsu Kaisen, I am glad it's Yuta or Yuji and not always Gojo. Because at least Yuta fans, like, Yuta's not a bad role model. He's a good guy. You know, if you're a young fan, I don't really get pissed off when you see on my Twitter a bunch of people saying, like, oh, like, there are the craziest takes on Twitter. I love it. I go on Twitter sometimes. I rarely comment. I just read things that, like, would normally be so incredibly wrong about the story. Like, it is very fun. It never disappoints. Some of the Twitter takes are like purely people who they don't even read Jujutsu Kaisen, they just read the leaks, which is the funniest shit ever to me. And then they argue about leaks amongst themselves, which makes it even better. They aren't though. Gojo's goals were 100% selfish. He wanted to raise the next generation solely to appease his own loneliness. I don't think it's solely to appease his own loneliness. It's because he didn't want anyone else to be lonely. It's like it is partially to appease his own loneliness. But like, I mean, if someone does good actions, like if he does good, like if someone does consistently good actions overall, you know, we usually call that a good person. Or if you have someone who does terrible things all the times with good intentions, they're usually considered a bad person. What's the craziest JJK Twitter you've seen? Twitter take I've seen? Oh, there's so many. I could probably just open it up right now and just read them off, because honestly, the content makes itself. Why do I put in any effort into videos when I can just read off Twitter posts? That's the first joke, because I don't even make videos. Yeah, reading the leak only comments, it's my favorite. Because they're so mean to each other, and they don't even know what the fuck is going on. My favorite JJK Twitter take that I can remember, people, usually Yuta fans, usually very angry Yuta fans, saying he's gonna come back and like beat Sukuna. Or saying my favorite, well, what was the one? Let me read it off. I sent it to somebody. I thought it was pretty funny. It was someone saying that Yuta didn't use his technique yet. Yes, somebody said that, somebody asked him, so people are living and dying on the Yuta has not fully manifested Rika yet. That's my favorite. New video idea, Quirkless reads JJK Twitter takes. I mean, at that point, I'm just a commentary channel, which honestly does do pretty well on YouTube, so maybe. Let's see here. This person, obvious Yuta fan. Yuta has never used his own CT. They only granted it to the barrier and used the techniques that manifested as part of that environment. He can freely choose and use techniques when he is teamed up with Rika, which he was not in this scenario. Okay, so apparently Yuta didn't use his technique in his domain, because actually, guys, you see, when Yuta Akotsu uses his domain expansion, his CT is actually like worse, guys. It's just worse than when he uses it with like a synced Rika, because that definitely makes a ton of sense. Shout out Kai Ovaries. Yeah, Yuta just gets worse in the domain, actually. Actually, you know, the domain expansion, really just a nerf. A 20% nerf to Yuta. He's much stronger outside of it with Yuta. And somebody asked this person, what do you think Yuta's technique is? And he said, oh, it's mimicry, but he imbued that into his domain. Like how Dagon granted Death Swarm to Skanda, or Sukuna granted Shrine to MS. But he wasn't actively using it, guys. He wouldn't have needed to use his domain to use his CT if he had it active, because there are no conditions to using his stored power. Yes, all of this glazing for the man that is chopped in half currently, or very injured. I really hope that person's not in here, because I'm only roasting them. Like, I have no... Listen, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. It's just content. It's just content. Yo, you do get the fun comments, guys, and like I am utterly immune to negative comments at this point. Dude, I love reading people who are mad. It is my favorite thing on this earth. Rika's still holding Yuta together while crying. Well, you see, actually, Adam, Rika was only crying because she knew, because she was tears of sympathy for Sukuna when he comes back and kills him, when she's fully manifested. What you just said, very hurtful. I'm sorry. Quirkless, have you seen Mashly? What's that? It's not an anime. Is it on Crunchyroll? I still have a Crunchyroll subscription. If I double down, I can eventually make content again. We become a really low quality review channel, or my favorite. Better yet, guys, I'll do the classic video essay and talk down to the entire audience the entire time, because that's the YouTube way. You're just gonna come back and save Akari from Rame at the last second. Now that would actually be cool. Now what is Mashly? I'm gonna look this up. Mashly is Harry Potter. Oh, I've heard about this. Harry Potter with muscles. It's unfortunate that's the description that got me to remember. But is that on Crunchyroll? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, magic and muscles. This is the guy that can't use magic. He just has hands, if I remember correctly. That sounds pretty neat. I love me some dumb anime, guys. Like I like, you know, I enjoy the fine wine dining that is like your super deep, overly what do you call it? Your super deep, hyped up niche anime. What do they call it? Sentai. Seinen series, because you know, you guys know how seinen people are. The people that are up their own ass about what anime they like. You know, I like me some fine dining anime, but I also like me some absolute garbage, because I'll watch anything. My schlock, I'm very schlock resistant. Even if something's terrible, I can find enjoyment in it. It's just the truth. The Mashly Season 2 opening song is so hype. Guys, I am terrible with anime openings. I skip them all, I swear to God. If it's not Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm skipping like every anime opening. That's 1 minute and 30 seconds of my life. When I was a kid, I used to watch them. I like the Devil May Cry opening from like the 2007 anime. Garbage anime is pretty good sometimes. It really is. Like, garbage anime hits in a way that garbage movies and like garbage daytime television does not. Like, the worst anime is still entertaining. If you like garbage anime, you'll love Boruto. Well, Boruto is more like somebody pissing on the grave of my favorite anime, of one of my favorite animes as a kid. Like, people who honestly try to tell me Boruto's like good, like actually you don't understand, guys. It's like really good. I'm like, listen, I get it. You're probably deep into anime. You're probably very deep into the Naruto fandom, and you might like Boruto. But when I could watch, there are so many other things I could be doing than watching or reading Boruto at this point. You skip the Overlord and Evangelion opening. It's good. It's funny you mentioned Overlord Plank, because I do not skip the Overlord opening. What's everyone's guilty pleasure anime? Oh, I had one. Darker Than Black. That was my guilty pleasure anime. The edgiest shit ever. I was like 12 when it came out or something, and I loved it. Or when I saw it, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. This guy is like doing kung fu. I was very easily pleased as a child. Very, very easily entertained. My standards were not high. Boruto fans tend to be young and go up and grow up with it like we grew up with Naruto. Seriously? There are actually like new Boruto fans? That's crazy to me. My Hero? Oh, I used to love My Hero Academia. That was a good show at one point. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was treating it like the next best thing. Great music too, like an actually good soundtrack. And then it all just became like a circus. Like spoiling My Hero Academia. There's not even a point. Is anyone else reading Overgeared? I feel like that's swept under the rug for folks. I still hated the ending of Darker Than Black as a kid, though. Yeah, okay, the ending was ass. I cannot lie, the ending was ass. There's nothing worse than finding out, like when you're a kid and you're really stupid and you don't know how the internet works and you're stuck sitting there like refreshing the page for like some random ass YouTube page to upload a mirror image Bleach episode. You have no idea when an anime has a season 2 or not, and that was my case. I just discovered Darker Than Black had a second season, and I was so excited, and then it turned out it was fucking butt cheeks. Quirkless, would there be any good reasons for Kenjaku to come back? No. In the case of Kenjaku is pretty much done, and like I see why they removed him, because his mission is over and it ends at Yuji and Sukuna, and they're going to do their thing without him, and we don't have time for like another battle with Kenjaku at the end. Like Kenjaku had a point in the story, for sure. It certainly had a play, like he certainly had a place. He needed to be the plot movement. Like you need the plot movement from Kenjaku, you needed the plan from Kenjaku, but by the end of the series, like at least by the end of Yuta putting a massive katana through his noggin so he could breathe through his forehead, that was the point where Kenjaku had pretty much done everything he was ever intended to do in the story. Inuyasha was pretty trashy in retrospect, but I enjoyed it at the time. Inuyasha, yeah, it was pretty trash. I knew a lot of people that liked Inuyasha, and every time I load that up, all I saw was like some guy in a red cloak with like cat ears, and I'm like, what is this shit? And I turned it off. But like these days when I watch a new anime, I'm sitting there and I read the comments that say peak, and I'll be honest, most of the anime I watch is awful. It is terrible, terrible anime. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is truly one of a kind in Shonen Jump right now. Like Jujutsu Kaisen is not written like a weekly series generally. Like the writing in JJK, the character writing, is, I think it's the best that Shonen Jump has to offer for its weekly series at the moment. But all the other things I read, terrible. Absolutely terrible. God awful. Like, I am reading Solo Leveling after watching the anime, and like, I hated the anime. Here I am, reading this whole schlockfest. And it's been disappointing the entire time. And people like tell me, like, oh, these fights are super good, guys. Like, people keep saying the fights are good. People ask me to watch Solo Leveling, read Solo Leveling, and I'm just sitting here feeling like I'm living in a different universe because, like, this is all ass from top to bottom, but that's nice art. Inuyasha was a girls' anime. My sisters loved it. My sister also loved Inuyasha. What is up with that? And then my sister's best friend also loved Inuyasha. And then every girl I ever knew that went to a convention also loved Inuyasha, so maybe there's some truth to that. Are you reading Sakamoto Days? It's pretty good. Sakamoto Days is pretty good. I don't think Sakamoto Days is great. I think it's a good read, but like I'd give it like 6 out of 10, but 6 out of 10 is not really bad. Quirkless, just read Overlord or Fate. Strange Fake for the love of God. Fate, strange fake for the love of God, man. It takes me a long time to go watch a new anime. Like, once I'm locked into liking a series, I'll learn everything about it. But if I don't care, I'm not built that way. My brain just shuts off. No information can be absorbed. Reading Freyren, and I love it. I'd probably read Freyren if I, you know, wasn't totally put off by like magic anime girl shit. Manga is nearly universally better than anime. Hunter x Hunter 2011 butchered the vibe. I mean, kinda. I think manga is a lot easier to read than anime in a lot of cases. Oh, obviously it's easier to read, but it's easier to digest, I should say. And there's no filler. I usually like manga, and I think manga is way better than American comics are, for the most part. There are some banger American comics, but when it comes to like DC comics and Marvel comics, I've read a lot of both, their stories are so goddamn bland. Like, even with the ones that people say are good, like Godspeed with Flash, I read that and I was like, this is just not that amazing. Just not that good. It's just mid. It's all mid at best. Like, it is the most disappointing shit. But manga has the benefit of one author in a universe that is allowed to change, and that is the biggest issue I have with American comics, at least like the main two universes, is that these universes are never allowed to majorly change. They're only allowed to have little mini stories with like some of the characters in the overall arcs, in the overall universe. So it gets kind of bland after a while. That's why Injustice Gods Among Us was one of my favorite comics ever, because even though it got ridiculous, at least characters were allowed to die and not come back. So you watching Madoka Magica or nah? No, I'm not watching Madoka Magica, Plank. We don't do none of that magic anime girl shit here. Inuyasha is literally a female manga shoujo, but for some reason the author, she's also female, insisted that it's a shonen though, through and through. That is strange. I know the mangaka for Full Metal Alchemist is female, which was actually kind of shocking to me because usually there aren't that many female mangaka in shonen. But Full Metal Alchemist is a banger. The manga is character driven while comics are story driven. I think that's true to some extent, but some manga are definitely like battle driven, though it's mainly shonen battle anime, which is kind of in the name. Does that mean you hate anti-magic girl anime? Is there such a thing as anti-magic girl anime? Injustice actually subverts characters in an interesting way, not just for shock value. It's goated. I agree. If you guys have not read Injustice Gods Among Us and you like DC Comics at all, I would suggest it. It is more than just an evil Superman story. It pretty much pulls in every single character from that entire universe and gives them something interesting to do. You even get to see Detective Chimp at some point. Listen, if you guys don't know about Detective Chimp, you haven't lived. French comics, manga, American comics. I've never read a French comic in my life. Madoka? I mean, I know Madoka Magica is an anti. I know the plot of Madoka Magica, but it's still just magic girl shit to me because I'm incredibly biased and stubborn, and I refuse to change. Real problem. Daughter of Baki author is the Beastars author. Beastars just looks like a porno anime to me. I'll be honest. So like I saw like one clip of that, and I was like, this ain't me. This ain't for me. Oh wait, is Beastars what I'm thinking of, or the other one? Oh, there's a lot of weird anime. Have you read the Thanos comics from Marvel? The setting and characters are pretty fleshed out, and the art is awesome. I don't read Marvel as much as DC, but I'll check that out if it's good. Thanos is pretty cool. I don't think. Wait, Beastars is not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the other one. But Beastars is like the furry anime, isn't it? There was another one. There was the one where they had like all the. What was the one I'm thinking of? It was not Beastars. Beastars is just like the animal high school thing. Either way, neither of the anime is Zootopia. Yeah, I as far away as I can say from Zootopia. If I know, Beastars is the one with like they're all in like the anime high school with the rabbit and the one dude, the Predators or something. I don't remember. I saw the one Scamboli reviews on it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of furry anime, so I never watched it. Interspecies reviewers? I don't even want to know what that is. Yeah, that's the one for that Scamboli reviews covered. And Scamboli reviews may just be the funniest anime YouTuber I can think of. He is funny as hell. Yeah, I don't want any part of whatever that is. Yeah, listen, guys, you have to tell me that, like, guys, Beastars is just rated R Zootopia. It's not that weird, guys. I swear. Oh, it's just not my thing. You all should reach the Tower of God. That was one of the comments. I was thinking of the other one where they had characters that like it's the one Netflix series they had. Back when I actually had Netflix, I saw like something where like people had to fight with like animal powers. But it was just like a bunch of scantily clad anime girls. I can't remember the name of it at all. Scamboli Reviews doesn't have a Madoka video. He's just a small YouTuber, I guess. Yes, Scamboli Reviews. A known small-time YouTuber. Scamboli Reviews. Absolutely. Killer Bites. Yes, Killer Bites. Killing Bites. That's it. God, you guys know too much. You guys know a lot more than I do. I'm not deep enough in anime, clearly. I was at one point. Back when Netflix was like my one. Back when Netflix was like the holy grail of anime. Have you ever read Burning Effect, Quirkless? It's good and completed. I have not read Burning Effect. I haven't read that much manga recently. TFG is still ongoing right now. I would say what's going on, but don't want to spoil anyone. Chicken soup. Sukuna is gonna make chicken soup or maybe fried beef tenderloins. Alright, guys, we've been going for like 2 hours and we're totally off topic at this point. We're talking about pretty much anything and that's not related to Jujutsu Kaisen. So I think I'm probably going to wrap up here. Actually, let's bring up a final question about the actual chapter. Just so we get this out. Let's see. Do we think Megumi comes back? Oh, okay, first of all, biggest question. Do we actually think Jujutsu Kaisen is ending this year? Like, for real, for real. I know they said it might. Let me put the poll out. Will Fuga actually do anything? I mean, they did call it the power of certain death. Podcast with Kaio and Eternal Wen. I might do a podcast with some different people. Scheduling conflicts have come up with some members. No beefs or anything. Just scheduling conflicts. But I'm probably gonna ask Jada, to be honest, because Jada and I think we have pretty good live streams. Maybe I'll ask 100. I've been friends with 100 for quite a while, so might as well. I don't know, coming together with I could have multiple podcasts. I know Man with the Pencil and Eternal Flame asked me to come on, so sure. I don't know who people want to see. What's the true a podcast? Could be fun, and it'll be more regular content. Hey, an era flashback coming. The Sage of Six Gates. Thank you very much for the super chat. That says nothing. Interesting. Well, support is appreciated. Gamer Drink will defeat the merger. Hunter's a top G. Hunter is a very nice guy. If they don't kill Sukuna here, then JJK is over and we're getting a new series. Oh, I think they have... The biggest thing with, like, killing Sukuna is he's gonna regen, probably. I think he's gonna regen. And once he's done regenning, he's probably gonna fight Yuji and Sukuna, like Yuji and Megumi. I just have no idea. I have no idea how we get another body. I have no idea how we're gonna get there, but Megumi and Yuji versus Sukuna, I feel like that has to happen. How about Undead Unlock and Blue Lock? Blue Lock is sports anime. I've heard good things, but I don't like sports anime. That's just like a massive deal breaker for me. The last time I watched a sports anime was Prince of Tennis in 2004. Which is just a battle anime for some good old tennis player. You, Eternal, and Fake Weeb JJK podcast would be dope. I haven't thought Fake Weeb in a little bit. I'd probably ask him. I don't know what he's been up to. I think I saw he did something with Blaziken a little while ago. Maybe he eats Hikari. Yeah, he might eat Hikari. He's probably gonna eat somebody. I'm just saying, when he eats someone, he's probably gonna get that regen. And all I'm saying, guys, is be prepared for people to get pissed. Why though? Sukuna's already showing everything. What's the point of coming back at full power again? I mean, it's not really again, is it? He hasn't been at full power since the start of the fight. Not even when he came back as the four-armed form. He just regened his body. And he's showing everything because he's showing everything. And he needs his four arms back. Like, if they're just gonna have... Like, you can't have Megumi and Yuji fight a totally... Like, a senile, broken down Sukuna. It'd be very boring. Like, Sukuna needs like a true 1v1 with Yuji. 2v1. Something like that. Or fight the merger. I mean, Sukuna is intending to fight the merger, like, immediately after, so him not having a regen just doesn't make a lot of sense. Wait, Sukuna ate Tengen's embryo. Didn't Tengen have an immortality CT, and can't Sukuna merge with the merger and take it into himself like a senzu bean with a little extra? You're calling Tengen the merger creature a goddamn senzu bean is fucking crazy, first of all. But yeah, when we're talking about on the note of Sukuna and him getting a regen and things like this, I'm just saying, people seem to be continuously shocked. Continuously shocked that Sukuna is strong and that he's not going all out, even though they tell us over and over again. When it comes to Sukuna, until we have seen literally everything this guy has, until we have the confirmation of what his curse technique is, because as far as we know, this is the first time he's actually pulling into his true bag. I'm just saying, people are going to get mad. People will just eternally get mad. Won't they just lose right away against a full power Sukuna? I mean, these characters would, but an awakened Yuji and a freed Megumi, probably not. I mean, clearly the power scaling is a little wonky anyways. People are shocked that the villain is holding back and has deep pockets. Yes, they will be continuously shocked for a while. Let's see, oh, Sage of Six Gates. Super chatting. Don't roast me too hard for last chat, lol. Want to ask if you read Two Blue Vortex and your thoughts. Love the channel. I have not read Two Blue Vortex, so I kind of feel bad now that I can't give you a better answer. But I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up. Hopefully that's that will suffice. Oh, this is Boruto. I have not read this. God, it shows you how much I know. It's Boruto 2. I'll probably take a look at it because I do like Naruto. I like it enough that I would actually read it to see what happens. Maybe not like it's super invested. But what we're talking about with the whole Sukuna. Sukuna will become the merger and get stronger than his original Heian form. Megumi will be himself and hopefully at least 75% power. Itadori will be Himothy, and Obara comes back with 6 eyes. Yeah, the thing with Sukuna coming back, or Sukuna getting stronger, or getting a regen, and all these things, is like right now they're going through like the giant Sukuna gauntlet, but the people that really have to fight Sukuna, the only person that truly has to fight Sukuna in this story is Yuji, and probably Megumi, but mainly Yuji. Like those are the two. Those are the two big ones. So how do we get them there is the real question to me. In the merger creatures. Like there are definitely some regen options. And people are going to be continuously pissed as Sukuna continues to pull out more and more out of his bag. Because Sukuna has just been set up this way the whole time. Like, I'm really not shocked. I honestly, I fully expect Sukuna to just be more powerful than we think he is right now. And like, I think Gege Akatame did their due diligence in showing that Sukuna is holding back. Or telling us multiple times. They set it up. Like, it's not like a shock. They showed us his fire arrow, 150 chapters. Yuji is literally fighting him right now, lol. Yeah, but not by himself. He left like 1 chapter. Everyone else is still there. It's not dire enough. It's not remotely, there's like the payoff isn't here yet. Like we're having the hints of it. We're getting the setup. That's what we've been getting. I'm just saying, just prepare for Sukuna to be stronger than you think he is still. Every time people think this guy's almost done, I really just would not be shocked at all at this point if this guy just pulls out and just cooks like half the field. Because until it is truly a sole 1v1 with Yuji and Sukuna, or a 2v1 with Megumi, Yuji, and Sukuna, Jujutsu Kaisen's not ending, because there's no way Choso's going to be like a part of the final battle, or like Miwa's going to be a part of the final battle of like Yuji and Sukuna. There are too many people left alive, and they also have Akari fighting off in the distance. He hasn't even shown up yet. Like, if anything, I think we'll get the 4v1 first, because that seems to be like something that's coming, and the whole reason of Yuji taking back, not Yuji, excuse me, Ui taking characters back, there's going to be some payoff to that. Like, there is a reason they are taking characters back to heal them, beyond just saving their lives, and like, it hasn't been revealed to us yet. And China Doll gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for the support. Everyone today, thank you very much for the support. It's been a little crazy, to be honest. They read Shadow Eliminators and think it's JJK. Got any plans for the channel once JJK is over? Shut the whole thing down. Yep, entire thing's gone. Every single inch. No, I'll probably totally content swap to different things. I'll probably just become a variety channel. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe I'll just do straight up commentary. It's kind of what I do now. I don't upload a whole lot. I just stream because I've been very busy. I don't want to kill the channel at all, but you know, it's better to. I already feel very fortunate for any success. What 4v1? Gojo and Yuta beside Yuji and Megumi? Well, the 4v1 would be the Maki, Hikari, Yuta, and Yuji versus the heavy hitters versus Sukuna. And like so far, we've only had them in like little tag teams. Why don't you variety right now? I could. It seems like I'm very locked into anime on this channel at the moment, which is fine. The current one has Soul Boogie Woogie. Poor Ooey Ooey. Thank you very much for the super chat, Pump Post. Die a hero and all that jazz. It says you are a One Punch Man JJK YouTuber. My banner and channel description say a lot of things. Say a lot of things that are all a lie. I dropped a romance manga video. Do one of those for I don't think I don't watch I don't read romance manga. When we're talking about 4v1, I really do feel like we have to like until Hikari's just being stuck eternally fighting Urame. Like they're holding him back for something. Like I doubt like either he's gonna die, him getting off screened, us cutting over to the fight. It's just very strange. Like something's coming. It's just I don't see the end of Yuji and Sukuna's fight occurring while Hikari is still fighting his chef. Cover, Rent a Girlfriend, infinite content. Like, see, I have standards. All right, like yes, truly, absolute bottom feeding on YouTube does pay, but I'm good. I don't need that. You know, I will say this though, being shameless, being absolutely shameless. I mean, don't be a bad person, but being shameless in what you and like who you are and just doing what you're gonna do. A life is truly freeing when you are utterly shameless. I'm not gonna lie, Hikari is getting off-screened for sure. For sure? That's crazy. Shameless Shinobi, that's the rebrand. Chill, Sukuna. Sukuna's not shameless. Sukuna's just like straight up malicious and evil. When I say be shameless, I don't mean like, have zero moral quandaries about anything. I just mean like, you know, don't like, I don't know, be true to yourself, you know, unless like you suck. Unless you suck. Okay. Yep, that's a quote. Be true to yourself unless you suck. I feel like we might cut to Hikari for that ultimate cliffhanger. Come to the dark side, there's monetization. I will never become a Minecraft YouTuber. Who's more evil, Sukuna or Kenjaku? They're pretty equally evil. I mean, they're both going to hell, for sure. Kenjaku's done some pretty twisted things, but like Sukuna also, you know, goes on eating sprees of people. It'd be funny if Urame just freezes Hikari there forever and the gang forgets about him. I mean, maybe Sukuna will need Urame to like feed him some senzu beans. So Maybe she will just like freeze Akari and come on over and like pull out her filet mignon bag of high quality human meat. Kaori or Yuki, who do you like more? I mean, Yuki's an actual character, so. How did you feel about Ui's soul swapping buff ability? I mean, that makes sense enough. We kind of like they set it up for a long time that he's gonna swap souls. If Sukuna goes to hell, he would just become the Lord of Hell. Yeah, it sounds like that already happened. The gang forgets about Hikari. The Hikari slander this stream is crazy. I mean, Hikari slander is just going to be an ongoing thing until he actually fights somebody, and like with a real fight, and isn't just there. Because the issue is, ever since that first Hikari fight scene, Hikari was just kind of chilling. Like, he was just kind of chilling there. And then he went on to chill again. Like, literally chilling on ice. Saying Yuki as a character is a bit of a stretch. I mean, it is certainly a bit of a stretch, but she's more of a character than Kaori. I can see him getting eaten in Jackpot. Oh, you have infinite curse energy flowing through you right now? Let me just eat that real quick. That sounds like a great buff. Could you imagine? Oh my god, he's gonna be like the ultimate. He's the ultimate meal. The infinite calorie meal. The infinitely refilling snack. Sukuna's just biting off parts of it. Like, maybe that's where it's going, dude. That's why they have to keep Hikari back, because Sukuna's just gonna eat him. Would Yuji give Sukuna food poisoning? Potentially. On that note, I am probably gonna end the stream here. On the note of the infinitely regenerating meal that is Hikari. Let me just double check. Check the Jujutsu Kaisen end this year. Will Jujutsu Kaisen end this year? 67% of people said yes. I kind of agree. We'll see. Depends if there's a twist, a major twist. Oh, and Pumpost, one last super chat here says, "This is my restless gamble on Hikari jumping in the front of jumping in front of the fire arrow in Toto-esque fashion." I don't think Hikari's body would really stop the nuclear explosion of the fire arrow. Like, maybe if it was just, you know, a single bullet or something, but the fire arrow is. It just detonate on him and then blow everyone up anyways. That's exactly how I've been feeling. He's just setting up to get eaten. Quirkless, consider Overlord though, since you really like it. It can make for some good battles with JJK. Trust. Oh, you're talking about the light novels? I have read some of the light novels, or at least I know a little bit about them. But, on that note, for real right now, because I constantly get distracted, thank you all for showing up. I'll try to get a video out to you guys very soon here. Have a great time. Thanks for all the super chats. The support is insane. I'm always amazed when any of you guys show up. At the very least, I'll get another live stream pretty soon. I won't wait 2 weeks to do one.